clubs opened in Manhattan in 1977. Called Plato's Retreat, it spawned rumors of sexual abandon and mass orgies. House DJ Tom Parisi was there and knows those rumors were true.
So things that went out of Plato's, they were woman with woman, man with woman, threesomes, fivesomes. You know, there was a situation where there was a woman there that took on, I think it was 50 men at one time.
Built in the basement of the Ansonia Hotel, Plato's Retreat was founded by Larry Levinson.
As far as we're concerned, we're doing the right thing. Don't hurt anybody.
He provided luxurious surroundings for couples who wanted open sex.
In the middle of the place, you had a fairly large swimming pool. You had back rooms with showers.
Sex could and would take place anywhere, but the most notorious area of Plato's was known as the mat room.
It was quite a large room, got very crowded. And basically, couples would go in there and start watching other couples have sex to get them aroused. And they would have sex watching other people get sex. And then one thing led to another, and before you know it, you would have people sharing each other.
Under suspicion of prostitution and fears around AIDS, the Sexual Playhouse was closed down in 1985.
Sexual promiscuity and sexual liberalism really flourished in the 60s and 70s. And then it really was HIV/AIDS that killed it. Now we have a generation that is growing up that didn't grow up with HIV in terms of it causing death. It's like we had this period of interruption, if you will, and now we're returning to a more liberal period.
At the forefront of that liberal movement are swingers Holly Pocket and Michael Bell. They've been together for over 4 years.
We're pretty normal people. We have 2 kids. They go to school, we're part of the PTA. We go have coffee like people do, and we go have breakfast like everyone does.
But unlike most Americans, they are advocates of the swinging lifestyle. They host a weekly radio show about it and say that extramarital sex is good for their relationship.
You're sharing fantasies and you're sharing what you want and your desires. And a lot of people are too afraid to tell their partner because they're afraid of what they're gonna think.
Some studies show 1/3 of men and 1/4 of women will be unfaithful in their marriage. Holly and Michael say swinging is a way to have the sex you want without cheating.
We don't advocate having affairs. We advocate communication. If that means your woman is with other women, great. Cheating is built on lies. Swinging is built on trust. Baby, what time is everyone coming?
7:30.
For first-timers Melissa and Justin, tonight's party is a step into the unknown.
Yeah, we're both interested in the idea of swinging.
We've talked about it, we've never really done anything.
Hey guys, come on in.
Good to see you. Michael and Holly invited us here. We know they're swingers, but we're not really sure what to expect tonight.
Come on in, you guys can have a...
You want a drink or anything?
Thanks, guys.
You're welcome.
Before the rest of the guests arrive, Michael takes the new couple aside.
Cheers. You guys, thanks for being here.
Thank you guys so much
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
How do you feel?
I have no idea what to feel. This is her idea.
You know, I'm really excited about it because I feel like we have a really close relationship and I think it can bring us to the next level.
This liaison won't be a free-for-all. Swingers have rules of engagement, and they're best established before any contact happens.
Those of us who work with couples sexuality actually encourage couples that want to swing to have lots of rules. Having rules makes a potentially scary situation less scary.
Would you be comfortable going and having Justin watch you two watch other couples physically be together?
Yeah, I think it might be fun. I think it'd be interesting.
Probably, yeah. I guess it's something different than watching it on the internet for free.
Right.
You know, so.
Melissa's eager, but Justin might take some convincing.
We get asked, I'm in a relationship and I want to join the swinger lifestyle, but my partner has no desire to do it. How do I convince him or her? Or how do I change their mind? The first thing we say is, don't.
No convincing.
No convincing, no changing their
If
mind.
both of you aren't in this, then you shouldn't go into it at all.
But some experts believe that swinging is always playing with fire. Dr. Karen Ruskin has been counseling couples for 19 years and says swinging is relationship suicide.
I remember a beautiful couple, and they had what they considered a good marriage, a stable marriage, and a good sex life. They simply wanted to spice up their sexual relationship. They figured they would just have one swinging encounter. They had their swinging encounter. After that, the wife was so hurt that her husband could be with somebody else. She didn't know she was gonna be that hurt, but she was. The outcome ended up being that the two of them didn't even wanna be together anymore. This is a common situation that takes place after, whether it's once, twice, or 3 times, a swinging encounter has happened.
In an attempt to prevent damaging their primary relationship, swingers establish boundaries.
A lot of couples, what they'll do is they'll write out whole lists of like what their boundaries are, whether they can do full swap or like soft swap or something like that.
Swinging couples agree before whether to practice soft swap or full swap.
Soft as in no penetration, so there's no sex. Think of anything that's foreplay is soft swap. And then full swap is home run.
The rules are made up in a swinging couple to try and assure and ensure that their couple relationship doesn't become damaged. They want to make sure that the other person is in agreement with what the plans are, so that way the person that they love is not hurt.
We always say, don't change your rules at a party. There's always tomorrow. Some couples might say no kissing, which I call the pretty woman rule. You know, in the movie, she didn't kiss the men because it was too intimate.
It's too intimate.
As the party becomes more intimate, Justin and Melissa have a decision to make.
How are you feeling?
Still kind of
Overwhelmed or?
yeah, a little bit.
He's a little intimidated by the whole situation, and she really wants to try it out.
Will they dip their toes in the swinging pool? And if they do, will their relationship ever be the same again? Inside this ordinary home in LA, a group of swingers have allowed rare access into their world. Party host Holly is bisexual and says it's women who are often the motivators of swinging.
We talk to a lot of people, and it's usually the women that start it and want to try it and see what it's like, because again, they're coming out more.
Yeah, they're evolving. Women are evolving more. 83% of couples that entered the lifestyle were because of the woman.
We are in the middle of an enormous sexual revolution in the United States and around the world. And there's many causes for it, but probably the most powerful cause is the motion of women around the world back into the job market. And as women become economically more and more powerful, they can express the sexuality. And we're seeing this in many ways.
So far, the party has been friendly but reserved. The hosts want to find out if it can go to the next level.
What do you find attractive about women?
I think just the fact that they're softer. You know, they know what a woman likes. Women, you can look in their eyes, and there's no like pressure to talk. Yeah, because you kind of both know what you're thinking. You both know where you're going. Oh gosh.
It wasn't more threesome.
I think Melissa and Justin are starting to dip their toes in. I think he's a little more nervous. He's a little intimidated by the whole situation, and she really wants to try it out. I got the sense Melissa was into the whole idea of me playing with her a little more. I made the first move, and I asked her if she wanted to play, and I thought if she says no, then it's not a big deal. That's what she's not into.
Even if you are in the lifestyle, it is still nerve-wracking at times to walk into a new situation.
I really started to feel something towards Holly. You know, it was exciting to jump into that, have this beautiful girl in front of me who's also kind of interested.
A new couple have made their first foray into the swinging lifestyle.
Yeah, it was a good teaser. Not really fully committed to it yet, but
We'll see where it goes.
when and if they take the next step, it'll be behind closed doors. In recent years, swinging appears to be on the increase, and many experts believe the internet is the reason why.
So the immediate ongoing interconnectivity that people have has been a game changer in terms of sexuality, dating, relationships, the whole 9 yards.
The internet enables swingers to meet and connect online, and if they want to, assemble en masse. Just as they are tonight in Miami. Here at South Beach, over 400 couples have gathered to spend a weekend of drinking, partying, and hardcore sex. This is Swingfest, one of America's biggest parties for open-minded couples. Couples like Dawn and John, who've been married for 13 years.
We realized we reached a point in our relationship that things were starting to get kind of dull. I realized this would be a great gift to offer each other and to really kind of revive our love life.
They believe swinging doesn't threaten their marriage, it strengthens it.
You're not cheating, you're with each other, you're experimenting, and you get to be with your best friend, you go home every day, you love each other, it makes your relationship stronger, and you get to have, fun with other people.
In the 21st century, sex with strangers is not as free as it used to be.
When couples check into our event, we give them a little card that describes what each of these colors represent. Most of our couples are full swap couples. That means they will have intercourse with each other's spouses. So they will wear a green bracelet. And then we have those that are new, a little timid, interested. These are soft swap, and that's mostly oral sex and touching and fondling and no penetration. In the lifestyle, most of the women, I would say 80% plus, are bisexual. So they wear a pink band to let the other ladies know that they are interested in them. Also growing in our industry is the acceptance of the bisexual male. So we have created a blue band so the male can go out and also show that he is open to having a relationship with another man at the event. And then for that new fetish that's really growing into the lifestyle and really becoming a part of it, this is the kink. So it's black. When you see this, that means you could be pulled into a dungeon and have a little bit more risque fun.
1,000 miles away in Louisville, Kentucky, Brian and Danielle are going on vacation.
Can you bring my bling shoes?
These bling shoes.
And they're packing a few surprises.
Danielle likes to be spanked a little bit.
I like what I like to call a little kinkiness from time to time.
Whips and handcuffs in the luggage might seem scandalous, but where they're headed, it pays to be prepared.
And then grab my black fishnet as well.
They're going to Swingfest. Brian and Danielle have been together for 10 years. They both have children from previous marriages. Danielle's daughters are aware of their mom's lifestyle.
I have a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old daughter, and they know. My ex-husband told them. I wasn't quite ready for them to know, but I couldn't lie to them. Because I'm their mom, they have to love me for who I am.
But some experts believe that parents who swing could be causing emotional harm to their children.
Children who are privy to the fact that their parents believe in having multiple people to have sexual relations with. How does a child ever learn what structure and consistency is? And how does a child experience good self-esteem? Rather, they think, well, if my mother's not good enough for my father and my father needs to be with somebody else to be fulfilled, well, then how will I ever be good enough for somebody?
Here at Swingfest, Brian and Danielle hope to meet other like-minded couples. But in order to keep their primary relationship intact, they've already laid ground rules.
Yeah, she makes the rules. It's basically her rules. It's all about the females. Females make the rules. Females dominate everything, of course.
Finally, we're here.
I'm straight. That's about my rule.
And what about safe sex?
We practice safe sex Sometimes, it depends on the couple that we're with.
So what are we gonna do?
Whatever you want.
Rates of sexually transmitted diseases amongst swingers are high. They carry the same rate of infection as young singles and gay men.
Do you wanna go play?
Danielle admits that every time they swing, they risk losing each other.
I think that it probably does cross everybody's mind. Falling in love, having an emotional attachment with the other couple, I really think that's an honest fear. Yes, it does happen, you know, that couples split up and, you know, maybe go to another couple or whatever. We've actually known friends that it's happened to.
Often what ends up happening is they feel they have another option because they're already swinging and they're already interested in somebody else, so why make the marriage work?
When swinging goes wrong, sometimes marriage is not the only casualty. In 2008, Kenneth McBride murdered a man his wife fell in love with in the swinging scene.
When you put yourself in a situation where you are compromising your body and being vulnerable to people that you may not know well, there are risks for violence, there are risks for health, physical health issues, there are risks for blackmail, there are all kinds of risks.
But for Brian and Danielle this weekend, all thoughts of risk are cast aside in the pursuit of pleasure.
I'm hoping that we'll actually be able to meet a couple, have a little fun later.
Normally, these acts happen in private. But tonight, Brian and Danielle will allow unprecedented access to their hidden world. Most events for swingers are strictly off-limits to media. But this weekend, our cameras have been granted a rare glimpse into the lifestyle's inner sanctum. This is Swingfest Miami.
We are a full swap couple.
A soft swap, it doesn't do a lot for us. We prefer the whole contact of the full swap.
But Brian and Danielle have strict rules about how and when they swap partners.
I know he's not gonna go do it behind my back. He's not going to talk to another couple. This is something that we do together, same room, and we never leave each other out.
Honesty is absolutely a core value in swinging. If you're not going to be honest with your partner, you're not going to be able to swing. They share everything, and the moment it's not shared to the nth degree, it's going to be regarded as cheating.
It's not until night falls that the action really begins. And guests who hook up can slip away into the private suites. This weekend, the hotel rooms have been transformed to cater to every need.
We have a voyeur room because we do have some swingers or people in the lifestyle that like to watch versus really engage.
These themed rooms range from mild to wild.
We always have a kinky BDS room. We also have a towel-only room that's for the really adventurous and extreme lifestyler who is afraid of nothing. And so you go in, you wearing a towel only, and you never know what's going to happen.
The buildup is very important, the anticipation to what's gonna happen in the night. I'm hoping that we'll actually be able to meet a couple and maybe go to the playroom and have a little fun later.
Danielle and Brian might treat this as fun, but it's a lifestyle that experts warn is not to be entered into lightly.
If a couple came to me and said, you know, we were thinking about doing this, I will tell them that it's going to make their relationship more challenging because it will bring in issues that they are not currently dealing with that might have to do with jealousy or insecurity or fear of abandonment. Because, you know, I'm standing there watching my spouse have sex with another person, I'm thinking, wow, they're enjoying sex with that person more than they enjoy sex with me. Well, that's gonna come up for me later. So I would want a couple to really be aware of all the ramifications so they can make a really informed decision.
Hundreds of couples have gathered at the party to meet and make out. But picking the perfect pair isn't easy.
We don't just jump in bed with anybody. It's a physical connection. It's both with her and with me. Usually it's physical attraction with me, no problem. Her is a little more different. She's a little more pickier than I am, I guess.
Brian's met a woman he likes, but Danielle won't be on board unless she's also attracted to the husband.
In the lifestyle, you'll hear people say that I don't take one for the team. And what that means is maybe I'm not attracted to the male.
Kiss, kiss, kiss.
This couple has just become a foursome. Concealed behind the doors of this hotel room, they're doing something most Americans would not contemplate. Jealousy is cast aside to satisfy desire.
No, not jealous at all with her having sex with other guys. It's a turn on. It's knowing that she's getting satisfied, getting something different.
No, it doesn't bother me to see Brian with other women. Actually, it's a major turn on to me. A lot of people don't understand that. It makes me want him more because I know he's giving that woman what he gives to me, and which is pure pleasure.
This sexual encounter is likely to be fleeting. When the weekend's over, most of these couples will part forever. For good reason.
When you have sex with somebody, you drive up the dopamine system in the brain, and the dopamine system is closely linked with feelings of intense romantic love. And so swingers have evolved a rule to counteract that. And the rule is don't get to know your sexual partners very well, because if you do, you might fall in love with them.
Despite risking their relationship, the next day Danielle and Brian have no regrets.
Yes, I believe all of our desires have been fulfilled.
Desires are never always fulfilled. Just for the time being.
Like over 60% of swingers, they say swinging makes their relationship stronger.
The lifestyle brings us closer together. It makes our relationship stronger because we are able to share our passion and our needs with other people. And when it's all said and done, at the end of the night, we're back with each other.
It's just sex.
It's just sex.
Dr. Deborah Anapol has studied sexuality for 30 years. She believes the concept of forever faithful is out of date.
The reality is that almost nobody has one partner for their whole lifetime. Not one sexual partner, not one romantic partner. This is still the fantasy that we raise our children with.
But not all kids are raised with that fantasy. There's another way to do marriage, and it was made in America.
I'm Sierra. I'm married to Martin. I'm dating Aaron and Romy.
In Somerville, Massachusetts, Martin and his 8-year-old daughter are preparing lunch.
Goodies.
So am I supposed to add that inside of here right now?
Yes, I'll get you a little scoop.
Mom Sierra is on a date with her boyfriend, Aaron. Sierra's husband has no problem with his wife seeing another man because they have an open marriage.
I like this one better. Me too.
It's called polyamory, which means many loves. And it's a lifestyle that remains hidden and shocking to many Americans.
She was like, it was so, here, let me give you this.
Polyamory is another word for consensual non-monogamy. It's a lifestyle that allows people to have, in an open and honest way, more than one loving romantic relationship going on at a time.
It's your turn.
Martin and Sierra have been married for 9 years and have 2 children.
That's good for both of us.
I think of our family as being a healthy, stable family. I do all the things every mom does.
But unlike most American moms, Sierra has multiple sexual partners. And so does her husband.
Some people ask whether our polyamorous people just like swingers. Well, I don't know any swingers. What I hear about swingers is that it's basically just about sex and they're kind of doing things. Well, what next exciting thing can we do about sex?
What?
There is an aspect of polyamory that it's nice to have sex with somebody that you're attracted to, but it's not, sex is not the only thing.
While swinging is purely about sex outside of marriage, polyamory is about sharing love outside of marriage.
Polyamorous people are very different from people who are swingers. Polyamorous person is looking for more than just the sex drive. They want all three of those brain systems firing all at the same time. The sex drive, feelings of romantic love, and feelings of a deep attachment, and they want it from multiple partners.
Sierra's currently dating Aaron, but he's not her only lover. Sierra is bisexual. She's also dating a woman, Molly, and they've been together for 4 years. Sierra's girlfriend, Molly, lives just a couple of streets away.
Yes, they were doubled.
She's married, too, to David, for the last 13 years.
For me, I would say that polyamory means that just because I'm married, it doesn't mean that I can't also have romantic feelings for someone else. And just because I have romantic feelings for another person doesn't mean I'm not still completely in love with David. It means that I have the ability and desire and opportunity to love more than one person at once.
But some experts see polyamory as needlessly indulgent and potentially harmful.
Polyamory is symbolic in terms of what culture we've become, which is a culture of entitlement, that we believe we should have whatever we want when we want it. We can't just have one cookie or 5, we must have the whole bag. Is that what we want from ourselves, that we cannot control our impulses?
Like swingers, polyamorous battle a social stigma.
What? Yes, I do.
But some believe the tide is turning.
In the early days, when I would talk about polyamory, there would be a lot of response that, oh, you're just a slut. Anything that had to do with sex that was not monogamous marriage was highly suspect.
A shift in societal attitudes has seen this hidden practice come out of the shadows.
Polyamory is growing quite rapidly at this point. My best guess is that there are at least 10 million polyamorous people in the United States at this time.
Oh, I want one of those.
When this group of polyamorists who share lovers and each other's beds get together, you might expect some friction, but there doesn't appear to be any.
Yay! We're finally here!
Molly and Sierra have no problem showing their affection in front of their husbands or their kids.
I can go to parties or to backyard barbecues and be holding hands with Sierra and then walk across the room and give David a hug. It all flows very smoothly.
So maybe it works for the adults, but what about the family members who never chose this lifestyle? What's the effect on them?
Why have children and bring them into it? Why not just have multiple loves? Because you need to have multiple loves.
In the backyard of a family home in Massachusetts, a rare glimpse into the normally closed world of polyamorous parents.
Hey, Aaron!
Sierra's lover, Aaron, has just arrived, and her husband, Martin, is happy to see him. Sierra's also invited Romy, her other female lover. Rather than commit to one love partner, polyamorists have many of them.
I've always been polyamorous. For me, that's in a big way just kind of how I work. I fall in love with lampposts. I fall in love with people who are kind and interesting and passionate about the things I'm passionate about.
What is the cheese of pleasure? The cheese is really relaxed.
The choice to lead this lifestyle often puts polyamorous people in the firing line, especially when there are kids involved.
Our culture is not comfortable with polyamory. We're not brought up with it. It's not part of our religious traditions. It's not really part of our general culture. Things that people are uncomfortable with, they're triply uncomfortable with around their kids.
The questions I get most frequently are about having children in a polyamorous relationship. You know, what about the children? Is this okay for the kids?
Now the news has arrived.
I let them know what's going on, so they're aware of it. Once a week, I have a scheduled sleepover at my girlfriend's house. And I put the girls to bed every night. So when I put them to bed that night, I will let them know, hey, tonight I'm gonna go sleep at Jay's house, so I'll see you in the morning.
I don't think my family's that different from other families. I mean, for a while I didn't notice it. And I only found this out like a few years ago. Open marriages don't make much of a difference. It just means that you have a little bit more of an open community.
Some of the only research that's been done on polyamory has been done on children being raised in polyamorous families, and found that there's essentially no difference between the children raised in polyamorous families and those raised in more conventional families.
But polyamory is a relatively new phenomenon, so some believe that its long-term effects on children may be yet to emerge.
Yep. All right, you toss it towards me.
Critics of the lifestyle question if polyamory is truly in the best interests of the child.
When a child grows up in an environment that they have significant adult male figures and significant adult female figures in their lives that they love come in and out of their life, they are affected by that. Children need stability. Polyamory provides breakups, abandonment, certainly not stability.
Yes.
But Sierra argues that the lives of her children are more stable than many of those raised by monogamous or separated parents.
People have asked me, what do you think the impact will be on them? And I feel that they're growing up in a stable, healthy, loving home, which means they're getting a lot better childhood than kids who don't have that. They are wonderful kids who have a healthy, stable, wonderful childhood.
Polyamorists admit finding time for so many lovers takes serious planning.
That is the hardest part of the schedule juggling, is finding time for the two of us to be together.
Most American husbands and wives find the needs of just one spouse demanding enough.
The amount of emotional stress of just simply balancing the needs of all of these individuals is something that most people do not want. As a matter of fact, I once asked a man who had 3 wives how many wives he'd really like to have, and he turned around to me and he said, none.
While Molly has her husband David and her girlfriend Sierra, she also finds time for her other partner, her boyfriend Mark.
It's like technology demos and
So what if
He also dates Rosa and Vika.
I think polyamory for me is when you recognize that you have feelings of love for more than one person. Instead of snipping off one of those branches, you instead nurture both of them.
It's a complicated way of life, yet it appears to be on the rise.
People usually are looking for more intimacy. They want close relationships with more people, kind of a substitute for the old extended families.
But Dr. Anapol admits polyamory is sometimes practiced for the wrong reasons.
They have a sex addiction. They are wanting to get more power in the relationship by having other partners so they're not so dependent on one partner. There's really as many different reasons as there are people.
But will polyamory ever replace the traditional American relationship model? Sierra's married to Martin, and her girlfriend is Molly, who's married to David. Sierra also dates Aaron. Mark dates Molly. And Romy dates Sierra and Aaron. Molly's boyfriend Mark dates Rosa and Vika. Welcome to the world of multiple love relationships, known as polyamory.
Polyamory is a way of living or a belief system that says that you can love and be sexual with more than one person at a time.
But adherents admit their seemingly idyllic lifestyle comes with a potentially damaging side effect: jealousy.
Jealousy has a kind of taboo around it. It's an emotion that in some sense we're not allowed to feel.
A beautiful summer so far.
But when jealousy arises, it can cause conflict.
The friction was about me not feeling as if I was getting enough of Molly's time and attention, that it started to feel threatening to me.
Nowadays, I still feel jealous. I start missing Sierra, and I feel like I haven't seen her as much as I would like to.
The human animal is a jealous animal. And what most people do not tell you who are in the polyamorous community is the enormous amount of time that they spend discussing the issues around jealousy.
Sometimes you're going to feel jealous in a relationship. It's like feeling sad or feeling angry. And a lot of polyamorous people have a lot of tools for dealing with jealousy.
We would have conversations about how much date time we could have and how to divide up her time, and it worked out.
Hey, Martin! Hey, there he is.
I will talk to her and I will say, hey, this is how I feel right now, and we haven't seen each other in a while. Let's set up time to see each other.
Until the early 90s, the word polyamory didn't even exist. It was invented by this couple, Morning Glory Ravenheart and her husband Oberon.
The way the word polyamory came to be, a lot of people were trying to live a non-monogamous lifestyle, and that is a mouthful, non-monogamy. So I took the Greek word poly, which means many, and the word amor, which is kind of French and also Latin, amo, amas, amat, and combined the two together, poly and amor, to make polyamory.
Morning Glory and Oberon are New Age pagans. They have been happily married and polyamorous for almost 40 years. They've shared 20 years of that with their partner, Julie. And they're living proof that open marriages can go the distance.
In polyamory, the focus is really on love. You can only do so much sex. I mean, even when you're 18, you can only do so much sex. The rest of the time, you're hanging out together. You got to be able to talk to each other, enjoy the same things, work together, enjoying the same movies and enjoying reading the same books. So it's a constant, ongoing relationship.
Which we went, uh-oh, what have we done? And then we had to unwind it.
I don't think anyone becomes polyamorous any more than you become gay or become female. I love to love, and I love to meet other people, new people, to flirt, to have adventures. So a monogamous life would simply not work for me.
Lessons learned.
Molly and Sierra feel the same way. And though most Americans could not conceive of living as polyamorous, they believe they're breaking down barriers.
I think there is something revolutionary about choosing to be open in your relationships. It pushes against a whole lot of social programming about Prince Charming and happily ever after and the one true love. Whether that choice is being made by one person or millions, there's a little revolution going on.
But will these open relationships ever replace the American standard of one woman, one man for life?
We have a brain that wants to believe in the one and only. And under those circumstances, it's not likely that polyamory or swinging is ever going to be mainstream.
But some say as technology and society evolves, so too will America's attitudes to those who choose not to follow the traditional monogamy model.
We're in a march of social liberalism that has been going on really since the end of the 1950s. And if that continues in the way it has, then multiple relationships, polyamory, and different forms of families are going to become increasingly more acceptable.